Hi.
Hello, my dear.
Hi, it's so good to see you.
So good to see you. How are things up in Maryland?
It's actually beautiful today. I was just outside and I was putting my feet on the grass to try to do a little grounding. And it's like the grass has no clue what's going on.
Yeah, no idea. It's thriving.
It's totally thriving. So I was like, I'm just going to hang in nature. It seems to it gets it right.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Always, right? Yes, it's like we're returning back to where we came from.
totally. Oh my gosh, so much so. So good
Yes.
to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course, I'm so excited, so honored that you're jumping on with us for meditation medicine. And we'll just jump right in so we can have a really rich discussion, a little practice at the end. So, for those of you tuning in, meditation medicine is really all about conscious conversations and practices to illuminate the truth that meditation is some of the greatest medicine that we can use to align our true self with our external life. So welcome, welcome. And today I'm so excited to have Julie Reisler here with us. It's kind of an interesting story. So one of our mutual friends connected us, another therapist named Lauren, based here in Atlanta. And Julie and I got on the phone for just a little meet and greet conversation. And it was one of those like automatic soul sisterhood connections where we were on the phone for an hour. It felt like 5 minutes. And we went through all things, right? Like our personal journeys, our spiritual awakenings, like our practices, our deepest, even darkest moments in life. And it was such a divine connection. And I was just so excited to invite Julie on here to have this conversation. And you, Julie, really inspired me with this topic because I was on the phone with you and I was like, this woman, this goddess lives fiercely. And so that theme, that message really flew through our conversation. So I'm thrilled that you're here to talk with us today. So yeah. So
Well,
if
I'm
you could,
honored. I'm so excited. And it felt like I'm sure we've done many lives in the past. I was like, how do we not know each other? Because it felt like
right.
I've known you for years.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's like the best feeling. I've had that feeling a small handful of times through my life, but this was definitely one of them. So I'd love for you to jump in. So Julie is an incredible master intuitive coach. She's the podcast host of The Youest You. I love that name, by the way.
Thank you.
So beautiful. She's a TEDx speaker. She's a teacher on the app Insight Timer. So many talents, so many gifts, and the work that flows through her is sparkling and radiant and incredibly powerful. And so I'd love for you, Julie, to jump in to just share maybe some of your journey, what brought you into the work that you're doing now, and we'll flow from there.
Yeah, I'm so grateful and honored to be here. And I think that whatever the fierceness is that you detected in me, what I want to say is that I believe we all have that. It's that inner spark. For me, it took a long, winding road to really uncover that spark and not try to bury it myself. I did a lot of, the self-sabotaging things. And, what I'll say this is for those who are tuning in that have ever struggled with an addiction, I struggled with food addiction for most of my life. And what happened was that just, I didn't know I was an empath. I didn't know that I was very sensitive to energy, and I just blocked it by eating, by using food. And over time, it just, I kind of was living a life from my neck up. I was really not so connected to my heart, to that fire within. And a lot of what I do is around tuning into your intuition, your heart intelligence, your inner wisdom, because for me, what I saw was there was so much of my life where I snuffed that out, both as a people pleaser, using food, just not wanting to be present. And it's like it worked until it didn't, right? Until I got to a point, I'll just say this really, really briefly, and if anyone can relate, everything looked awesome on the outside, which did not mean anything about how I felt on the inside. And I just will never forget this. I was driving. It was like a May night, like right now, about 18 years ago, and I was I had heard about a support group for people struggling with food addiction, and I had this thought. I had my hand in a bag of M&Ms. I couldn't stop eating. I could not stop eating them, and I remember this. I literally had this thought, like, you know what? I should just drive into a tree and end it. It was so in so much pain. It's funny. It still brings tears to my eyes because I really was that in a low place that I considered that. And I heard this little whisper that's like, if you just go to that meeting, your whole life will change. And that's a lot of why I do the work I do. That changed my entire life. I really excavated my best self. I feel like I reconnected to my higher self, that inner spark that I think we all have. That's the fierceness we all have. And yeah, it was through that work, massive amounts. I mean, thousands of hours of
Yes.
meetings, sponsors, coaches, therapy. Like I did it a lot, and it wasn't until it took a while until I started to wake up. Not in the marriage that worked for me. 2 kids under 2 when that happened. Total health breakdown, left my full-time job to start my business, like a lot of this U-turn. But when I started to tune in, I could hear that voice that was like, Julie, you got to do this. You got to honor your body. You got to start your own thing. And that has been the biggest gift. And I feel like there's a gift that comes out of really those dark nights. And so I'm honored to be here and talk about how we all dig in, because I know we all have that inner wisdom. We all have it.
We do. Thank you for reflecting that, because I think a lot of people who see teachers or coaches or therapists, whatever the practitioner is, there can be this idea that fierceness is something that you want to get that's outside of you, that you're reaching for something to fill a hole of not enoughness, of unworthiness, of low self-esteem within you. So thank you, Julie, for really shining a light on the fact that that fierceness, whether we want to call it fierceness or courage, that light is always existing within us. And it takes, like you said, hours and hours, thousands of hours of therapy, coaching, inner healing, meditation, yoga, in order to peel back the layers to reveal what's actually there. But I do think it's very shame reducing to really acknowledge that this is something that we all carry, this fierce, courageous nature within us. So as you shared so many amazing, powerful pieces of your own story, what would you say, Julie, were some of the primary ways you were able to listen to that inner voice, whether it was the voice that guided you into that meeting or the voice to leave a marriage that was misaligned for you? I can identify with that. That was a big part of my spiritual awakening too, like really seeing the reality of the relationships we're cultivating. So what was that? What did that feel like? What enabled you to do it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I always like to, whatever I'm sharing for anyone tuning in, I just invite you to really take what you like, what resonates, and think about yourself, how this applies to you. So for me, it starts first it's like it's an audio, it's like a voice. It's like a soft little voice. And, I'd had that voice for a long time. I'd had it around that relationship that I was in. I had it tell me, I just chose not to listen. And so for me, it showed up as this, it's very calm. And, I think the difference between fear, which is really just ego, and, egos try to keep us safe, it's fear, is usually that's a louder yelling voice. This one, for me, sometimes I'll see an image or I'll get a sense, but usually when I hear it, it's very calm. And it's like it has an essence to it that it feels right. It feels right in my body. And what I can say is with my marriage, I had, again, my 2 kids under the age of 2, and I woke up in the middle of the night. My body woke me up. I had a full on panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I thought I was going to die. It was really, really scary. It's like funny how now, not funny, but I can say it and remember it. But in that moment, if you've ever been in that kind of situation where you're like, whoa, what if this is it? What if this is it? And that voice said, you're not okay here. And so for me, and one of the things I teach is that we all get this wisdom. It all comes to us in different ways, where each individuated expressions of the divine, and your intuition is going to come. It might be, you might get a vision, you might sense something like getting goosebumps or gut, butterflies, or it could be a knowingness, or you hear it. I actually have all four, but it just depends. I've really been tracking it. And something I would say that's helpful is I love to do what's called like an intuition inventory. And you just look at all of the times that you've heard or sensed or felt or seen that inner knowing, and what happened when you listened and what happened when you did not listen. And no judging allowed. But that inventory is very powerful when you can start to really get a sense, oh, this is real. I think we are programmed not to tune into this wisdom. And for me, I started to look at it and I could see a pattern. And what's amazing is when I say my business is powered by my intuition, by higher guidance. And I'll tell you what, oh my gosh, Lena, the times that I've not tuned in, there was one about 1.5 years ago. I'm still slightly paying for it. And that's okay. But seriously, it was, I knew it and I didn't listen. And so I'm just telling everyone here, if you have that feeling, it really pays to listen. It really does. There is something real there. And, we know, I've done a lot of work with heart math, and they get into the science of heart intelligence and intuition. It's a real scientific thing, which I think helps a lot of our left brain logical minds.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love heart math. And I love the idea of a intuition inventory and really allowing that to be a part of our practice. Yeah. So for those people tuning in, how would you recommend that they implement, whether it's a piece of that inventory or just a daily check-in, or, I think about making choices, right? So the choices that we make really contain so much of our intention, whether it's conscious intention or unconscious intention. And, a lot of the intentions of psychotherapy are the same as the ones of meditation, right? Like self-actualization, self-awareness, self-efficacy, self-determination. And so intuition is something, like you said, we're not trained so well to tune into. And I think a lot of our modern day conditioning around pleasing, around external attachments, around striving can really tamp down the intuition. So what are some of your tangible tips and tools for people around how to cultivate that ability on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I'm constantly playing with this. I think of them as like boosters, intuition boosters. Yes. And I would say, first of all, I think the thing to remember, I am not the first to say this, but we're made of, everything is energy, and including the house we live in, our body. And really keeping your body, and this is not about, I'm not prescribing a certain way to eat or what to do, but I will say that if you treat your body and nourish it really beautifully, so, giving it tons of nutrients, tons of live plants, water, good sleep. the basics. I think those are all important. Meditation, non-negotiable. Stillness. Some people don't, think I can't meditate. It's just, whatever that is for you, having that stillness, getting quiet, going within, getting enough sleep. Like these basics are, I have to say, and having had an autoimmune condition that, if I'm not taking care of myself at that level, my intuition is not the same. I've tracked it. So I can tell you, like from personal experience and people I've worked with, minding your body, nourishing your body, and then giving it a lot of love. It's like a plant. That is one of the first things. And it can be overlooked. So just, honoring your body like the sacred temple it is, whatever that means for you. Everybody's different. That is one of the new ways that I've shifted from, I had a massive body image, hatred for my body for so many years. And until I started getting into really like gratitude practices and realizing, oh my gosh, like I should be hugging and kissing all parts of my body every day. Like we're such a gift. Yeah. So that's a huge piece. I think after that stillness, there's a really quick technique that I use. It's from heart math called the heart lock-in, and it literally, you put your hand on your heart or you imagine it, and slowing down your breath. So slowing down your breath and just really connecting, almost breathing through your heart. So you want to imagine, even though we don't actually breathe in our heart, you picture it in your mind's eye, breathing in your heart. And then from there, just cultivating a feeling of appreciation, of gratitude, of care. And already right now I can feel it's amazing. It tampers our stress. And what you want to do is radiate that to your whole body. I think of radiating it to my cells, my organs, my whole body. And then I like to radiate that up to everybody, everyone listening, to all beings. It's kind of like a metta. I added the metta piece, but, and then what you can do is when you are in that heart coherence is what it's called, asking your heart, asking your inner wisdom for guidance. I often will take a question that I've been really struggling with and I will ask it then. I will say, okay, dear heart, like, all right, girl, what do you got to say about this? What's your wisdom? Try to be succinct and clear. And oh my gosh, the stuff that comes out, because I'll journal after, is incredible. It's very different than what you get from your mind, because of course our mind is, we know this, polar and is going to go from back and forth. Our heart is not like that. And there's intelligence in our heart. So that has been really, really powerful, doing a lot of journaling, connecting to my heart. And I keep a tracking, I call it my evidence journal, which I'm a huge Abraham Hicks fan. If anyone here to them, they talk about getting, evidence and appreciating. And so I was like, well, let me just get some evidence on how this has changed my life. And I have a whole mind map of it. It's beautiful.
Amazing.
So those are some, intuition inventory. I mean, anything what we focus on, we know expands. If you start to become aware, so you're on the road, all of a sudden you see something on it. I get a lot of my intuitive signs while driving or when I was driving. And I see a word on a truck and it's like, it'll light up, or I'll get a feeling. Start noticing where and when you feel that connection, what you could call a sign or synchronicity. What does that feel like to you? What is it? Is it visionary? Do you see it? Do you sense it? Like, start to tune in and ask yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Something that you just embodied, but also spoke to, is this intention to slow down, and that through the stillness is really where we're able to reconnect with that inner voice, that intuition. And we are absolutely in a global slowdown right now. So it's such a fruitful time for us to reconnect and really make that journey inward. And I think about, even not so long ago, when I was in a relationship, a marriage that wasn't aligned for me, and how because the ego was trying to keep me safe and to prevent from embarking on all of this transformative, really painful change, I wasn't listening, and I look back, it's really humbling when you really reflect on a time that, shifted for you, and maybe the universe had to intervene in a way that helped to wake you up. And so even as a teacher, I think it's important for us to share those times where we perhaps weren't quite listening to the inner intuition, that inner voice that was trying to speak. And for whatever reason, we weren't listening and the ego was taking over. And that's just an innate part of the human experience. For people tuning in, like, this is a lifelong practice. We are constantly awakening beings. We will never really be awakened beings, in human form at least. So, thank you for sharing that. It was really beautiful. And I think, it's accessible. Those few minutes of really tuning into the heart can make such a palpable, powerful shift. And it's like right here for us to access.
Yeah. I think the thing to add too is that, I did all this reading and studying. The book Heart Intelligence tells you about it, but it's intuitive. It's like, I feel like when you ask kids, they show this, actually, they've interviewed kids all over the world. Where did you get that information? Or where did everyone, they all point to their heart. It's like, we know that intuitively. And I think, to me, what's being called for, you really talked about the slowing down, which, oh my gosh, I tend to be an overachiever, probably like most of us. And my body does not like that, number one, which I can hear right now. She's like, no, we don't. I think this new world that's sort of to me, one of the call to actions of what's happening right now, it's sort of like Mother Earth speaking to us, is to slow down and to it's like that remembering what we have within us, and to put attention there. I believe are, we're just taught to go into logic and thinking first. And
Right.
I can tell you that did not do so well for me doing that. No, it really, and I just dare everyone to track what happened. I'm telling you, all you got to do is look in your past and you'll be like, well, yep, that doesn't work as well. It doesn't.
It doesn't. And I think that's so, I mean, it can be like quite logical to even just look back and track, right? Like the decisions that you made and what was the outcome and where did you make that decision from? And, I think for all of us, it's important to know, and you touched on this, Julie, is that here in the West, especially, we privilege intellect, we privilege knowledge, we privilege thought before more of the yin, more of the soft feminine sides of our inner ability, like our intuition, like our emotional intelligence, our emotionality and that intuitiveness. So it's much like a retraining, right? I feel like it's just this rewiring in all ways, like not just the brain, of course, but the whole system of the body, because the mind is embodied in the body. And it's so humbling because we falter all of the time.
All of the time. I don't know if you feel this way, but you're talking about, like, one of the reasons I feel so called to teach this. I mean, this is a daily practice for me. And I have got to be with people that are working on this too. I mean, it's for me, hopefully, I would imagine, we, I believe, teach what I need to be reminded of. And there are days I'm like, okay, I feel really in the flow. I feel like I am pausing and I've not just gone to my head. And then I'll tell you, a couple days ago, wow, I just, thank goodness I know how to go into the observer mode. But I'll tell you what, I think most of us are, again, we're conditioned to believe our thoughts, to go into our head first. And it was crazy town. If I had gone with what I was thinking, and there's a lot of crazy thoughts I have, I'm like, it is a freaking dangerous neighborhood in there sometimes.
It is. It is a dark and dangerous place up there in the mind. And that's the thing. Can we continue to devote ourselves to these practices, whatever practices resonate with you? Julie and I were talking about different ones, and like you said, it's whatever resonates with you. Whatever resonates, take that, leave the rest. But can we continue to see that our thoughts are just experiences, right? And sometimes they're very dark experiences and dark comments and belief systems that flow through. And so can we see that as just an experience, not often based in reality? And that's a humbling one. I mean, that is a lifelong practice. And that's an innate part of, our human condition. And I think if we can all share the folly of the mind and that dark place up there, it can reduce shame around, I'm sitting in meditation, I'm having 1,000 thoughts, or I'm having self-doubt or self-judgment. We can be so aggressive towards ourselves. And it can be very painful. So curious, what does it mean to you, Julie, to live fiercely? And can you share, and I know you shared a little bit about your story, but maybe a moment where you felt like that was a choice that you made for yourself in order to align your core self with what you felt was true and right to your heart?
Oh my gosh, there are so many stories. I'm like, which one am I going to pick?
I know.
It's a great question. I love that question. And I really think, when I think of what it means to live fiercely, I think of that faith and courage to live in your heart, to live in your inner guidance, to say, I am going to allow my inner guidance, my higher wisdom, to be my compass. I think that takes massive courage, because it's not easy. It's not always easy. I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, waking up in the middle of the night and ending a marriage that was, a relationship of 15 years, a marriage of 11, 2 children, at the time we got separated, we're 3 and 4. But let me tell you, big family. Like that was really hard. That took a lot of trust and faith and courage. I think trusting, living fiercely in a way, just changing my entire lifestyle when I found out I had Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disease. Literally, I mean, and for a food addict, this is like a big deal to change your entire diet and lifestyle. So that for me, it's just, I'll say it this way to you. This is what I feel about that. I think when I woke up that night thinking I was going to die, I made a plea. I'm not sure who it was with, but it felt like it was a plea with, maybe it was my higher self. Maybe it was the angelic realm. Maybe it was God, the divine. I don't know, but I made a plea. Like, if you help me to be true to myself and get out of this gracefully, I promise I will help as many human beings as I can. I felt that with my going to the meeting that night 18 years ago with my food addiction, wanting to go into a tree. And I felt that the night I woke up and thought I was dying. So for me, it is a sacred contract that I've made with myself. And for me, the most important thing is honoring that inner wisdom that is guiding me towards living out the gifts that I was given. We all have them. We all have massive gifts.
Yes.
And that is something that, to me, I guess living fiercely is deciding to really abide by this inner compass and direction, no matter what. And it is not always freaking easy. But I've made that decision. It's like the most important. I remarried, and I told my husband, it's funny, I'm actually wearing this is my wedding ring for myself.
Oh, I love that.
If it's okay to share, it's kind of a cool story. I can say really quickly.
I would love to hear that.
I am in tune with energy, probably like anyone watching. We're all sensitive empath beings, which is beautiful. And I was feeling a lot of negativity around my former husband and had some items from him, and I didn't want any of that anymore. Even though I honor him, I've children with him, I just felt like it was time to transform that. And so I took what I had left from, our marriage and some other items. And I went to this family jeweler and I was like, I just want a ring that's like for me, and it's this 100-year-old ring that is my birthstone, which is citrine. I'll show it to you.
Amazing.
I don't know whose it is. I've tried to tap into that energy. I'm not sure. It's all about health and abundance. And she said, Julie, I think you need to look at this ring. I hadn't even seen it. And I started crying. It was like exactly, it was so, I just knew it was mine. I came home and I fell to the floor. I mean, this is like, I'm a pretty rational person, but I fell to the floor. I started crying and I'm like, something, this is to marry myself. This is that contract with me. This is the most important contract I have, is with me and my higher self, my heart. And I told my husband, I'm like, well, now you are married to two, or I'm married to two people. I'm married to myself first and then you. And it's a reminder to honor that voice. And that's to me, that's what fierce is choosing to honor no matter what. I have a lot of support, I don't do it alone. But I really think if we all get quiet and start to really be able to excavate that treasure box, I really see that as a treasure box within each of us. I think we would have a very different world. We'd have a lot more heart energy, and frankly, consciousness would be up. And I think people would shift from fear. Not all the time, we're human, but it would be a different place to live. So for me, I live it by doing it. And I left a job when I had a cushy day job. I was a single mom, and I left because my inner wisdom was like, it's time to leave. I mean, and I left with like no net.
Wow.
That's 6 years ago. But so to me, it's just honoring no matter what. And it's never steered me wrong. Never.
Beautiful. I'm like just soaking it all in over here. It touches me, actually. It got a little emotional there because it's such a embodiment of what especially women are being called to today, to really face that fear, the fear of what it means for them to choose a path that's maybe unpopular, a path that may be judged by, your community, your family, maybe misunderstood.
Yeah.
in service of your sacred contract with
Yeah.
yourself, with your soul, why your soul is here
Yeah.
on this planet to serve. And I'm feeling like the depth of that. I'm also feeling like the power of the collective women over time, and how, when we make that choice as an individual woman, it's not just for ourselves, it's for our kids and, future generations of both men and women and all beings, to really pave the path of creating a blueprint of what it looks like to live fiercely and to live in your truth. And living in your truth, again, like you said, it's not easy, it's hard work, and it can be a path of great change, great pain.
Yeah.
But it's all worth it, because you are then honoring what is the most important relationship we have, and it's the one that we possess with ourselves. So I'm so touched by your story, and I love that ring that that you're married to yourself first, and that's the way it should be, right? Something else kind of flew through as you were sharing, Julie, and I think your story gave me permission to really share this. And one of the moments, like living fiercely, if we want to call it that, moments that I remember and like I can still tune into it, was this night where it was the full moon. And at the time when I was married to my ex-husband, we had a house at Serenbe, which is a wellness community south of Atlanta. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we're in the middle of our separation. It was, traumatic and turbulent and confusing and disorienting, but it was something I knew I needed to do. So we were in the process of the unwinding. So I went into this wildflower field, and I released a lantern, so like a Chinese lantern, with an intention, and I just like fell to Mother Earth. Like this, of course, distraught, crying, like releasing, emoting. And the mantra that flew through that I still use today in my practice is, I will honor my soul, my essence, no matter what it takes, no matter what it breaks.
Oh,
And
that's gorgeous.
And that's what this living fiercely path, I feel like, is that, we have the courage to lean into the moments that will break us, will change us, will strip us down, may, transform the way our life looks. But if we're married to ourselves, if we're prioritizing our soul, then we'll have the courage to endure those moments. So thank you for, sharing your story. It's powerful.
I need to get that. I was like, please send that to me. And I resonate. That's exactly it. That is so beautiful. So funny. Mine does not come in rhyme or like pretty poems or mantras. It's usually like, get the F out. Like,
get the fuck
you need
out.
to wake up, sister. Wake up.
Right.
I love that. That is, that's so beautiful. Like and I felt you in the field. I mean, it's it's easy now to talk about, but I can imagine for you then too. It's no joke when you're in the middle of this.
Oh my gosh.
That's why we need each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
community.
When your paradigm, your whole mindset of what reality is shifting, it can be one of the most confusing things. So I actually work, and I'm not sure, if you're doing much individual coaching at this time, Julie, but for the people you do work with, I'm sure you've worked with quite a few people who have gone through change and have been in the depth of their spiritual awakening. And it is highly confusing. It's just disorienting is probably the best word I can use to describe it.
Yeah, I would say it's funny. I do still do a little bit of one-on-one coaching, and I've always, if you want to see your path, I attract people who struggle with food. I have it's, of course, the dark nights of the soul awakening. I tend to attract a lot of this, like the light is just not on, and how do I get it on, and how do I feel alive again and awaken? And I'm like, oh, I'm your girl, because I know that.
Right.
I sure as heck know that. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, exactly. So for you, what would you say are some of the primary things right now in your life in your work that light you up, that make you feel that powerful essence that you are, the goddess priestess that you are? What does that look like for you? Is whether it's a practice or part of your routine or anything that comes up around that?
Yeah, this is like tweaked over time. It's funny, this morning I was like, so it's kind of, I have a weird one. This is actually a little, I don't want to say vulnerable. I don't know where to put this, but I just had a discovery, like literally this weekend, about myself and self-care practices. So I'm excited because I haven't shared this out loud yet. When I was little, I'm a big dreamer, and I used to do a lot of what you'd call daydreaming, spacing out. Okay. So I would like stare out the window. This is going to sound bizarre, but I would like trace the curtain, whatever was on the curtain, with my eyes. Like something would happen and it would allow me to get into this, what I'm realizing is a meditative space. And my husband came into I was in the bedroom like last night. It was kind of in that not quite dark yet. And I don't know what happened, but I just like did this thing I haven't done in a while, because usually you need time and you need to be relaxed. And I just spaced out and stared out the window. And it was like one of the most regenerative, calming, soothing things I have done in a long time. And he was like talking to me. I didn't hear him. He's like, are you okay? Like, what are you? I was like, oh yeah, I'm great. I'm totally spacing out. And like, that just felt like I took a 2-hour nap. And I realized, this morning, real time, one of my practices, right when I wake up, the first thing I do is Reiki on myself. And you know, there's many ways to get, there's 8 hand positions, and I love it because it's giving energy to myself. That's my new thing. So I do that right away. And then right after that, I allowed myself 10 minutes to space out. I don't know what else to call it, but it is so healing and nurturing. It is like my form of meditation that I do in addition to meditation. And I was like, I've got to tell people this. I'm sure there are others that space out also.
So interesting that you say that, because that's something that my body or my consciousness naturally does in the morning for like, like 20 minutes. And it's the moment. So for those of you tuning in, just stick with us here. So,
bear with us.
Bear with us here.
Yeah.
So it's very sweet. My partner, Jeff, he brings me coffee in bed every morning, and that's like part of our ritual. So he wakes me up, I do my mantra, he sets this like beautiful almond milk latte on the bedside, and then he leaves me alone because I'm a slow to wake up person. I need a lot of spaciousness and silence in the morning. Like popping into the prefrontal cortex is no bueno for me. So I'm just there, and I literally space out for about 20 minutes. It's like, I'm there, I'm half there. And I think part of it may be just my soul journeying a little bit. But it is so restorative, because it's not productive. It's not like I'm trying to ground myself. I'm just being in my natural state. So I
love it. I love what you just said. I'm a soul sister with you. I am not a quick to wake up person. It takes me way similar to you. And I like a lot of time for myself and quiet time. And that's so funny about the spacing out.
Space out meditation.
There's something about it. I added it this morning. I do like to walk every morning, especially now. But for me, doing the heart coherence, and I actually use a little device that measures the inner balance, which measures heart coherence. And then I do a lot of, I usually try to ask my heart, my inner wisdom, at least 1 or 2 questions, and we'll journal about it. And then usually I have a little end practice where I do what I'm grateful for, what I'm calling forth. Like that's on a good day. Now, when I was driving my kids to school and we were running late, let me tell you something. It's self-Reiki for like a minute each. I would do like 2 minutes of meditation, and the rest was in the car.
Exactly.
So, but that's the basics. And then
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I love reading.
Yeah, so nice. And I think, again, for those tuning in, it's important for us to be attuned to what works for us, because what works for me or what works for Julie or what works for someone else may not work for you. And so it's almost like trying on clothes. Like you put on a practice for a little while. Does it feel good? Does it look good? Does it really speak to your heart? and that it can evolve over time as well, you know, because I've noticed that I need more movement now, or I like more movement before I actually do my longer seated meditation in the morning. So I've started running and walking more. And again, there's more space in the morning. So that has been a gift for sure.
So great.
So, yeah. So I'm mindful of the time because Instagram does like to kick us off right at
Oh,
an hour.
okay.
And I want to leave some time if people have questions. So I would love, 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 be so honored if you, Julie, would guide us in a short meditation practice.
Yeah, I would love it. So, it's gonna be a short, really simple one. What I love is you can do this anywhere at any time. We're gonna do a version of the Metta meditation, connecting to your heart. So wherever you are, just comfortably seated. If you want, I always say if you want to lay down, do whatever feels good. Um, and then just so we can all go in, closing your eyes, putting your hand to your heart, and just starting to slow down your breathing to a comfortable cadence for you, slowing it down. Nice. And exhale. And I just invite you to imagine that you are breathing through your heart, slowing down your breath, connecting to your heart, to that sacred place of life force, compassion, love, higher wisdom, just honoring that now, feeling that appreciation, and just conjuring up those feelings right now of appreciation, gratitude, care, and allowing those feelings to just circulate throughout your body, radiating from your heart, activating your cells, your organs, filling your body with that quality of light, well-being, peace, and just filling yourself right now. You might even notice that this energy, this healing, appreciative energy has a color. Maybe not, maybe it does. Just notice what your heart shows you. Notice if you tune into a color that you are guided to radiate to your body. Good. And now I'm going to invite you to slowly imagine, as you're breathing in and out of your heart, to take that powerful, powerful energy from your heart of appreciation, of love, of compassion, and let's radiate it to everybody here right now. And you might even use the mantra, may all beings be at peace. May all beings be well. May all beings be free. May everybody here feel the heart energy. You might even imagine the different colors radiating out, knowing we are connected by a web of love and infinite light. And then every beautiful soul here, let's take that energy and let's beam that out, radiate that out to all humans, all of humanity, to all of the animals in the animal kingdom, to the plants, to Mother Earth herself. Just radiating that energy of well-being, appreciation, love, compassion. Okay. Radiating that out to everyone on this planet. You might even imagine it going beyond the planet into the atmosphere, to the universe, maybe even to the multiverse. Just knowing that we have incredibly powerful energy within us. There is a love force that is expressed as you and I, and that is able to travel beyond any distance we can understand. And just setting that intention right now, give a moment of just breathing in and out that peace and well-being, extending it to all of our brothers and sisters. Those that might be suffering, that might really need our prayers and good thoughts, thoughts of well-being and ease, sending that love to them right now. Mm. And then starting to bring that energy that you've extended to the planet, to the universe, to the multiverse, allowing it to slowly come back, radiating back to you, into your heart, into your body. And just taking a moment right now to be at peace in your sacred temple that you live in, thanking your heart, thanking your entire body. And you might just ask, before we come back to this moment, you might ask your heart, beloved heart, what wisdom do you have for me right now? What wisdom do you have for me right now? You might ask that question and just notice what comes up, if anything. And then slowly, slowly, with great appreciation, grace, gratitude, thanking your holy body, your sacred temple, acknowledging the divine spark, the fierce light in you that is you, expressed as you. Whatever you might call that, you are it. You have everything you need right now within. And just knowing that, feeling that, being that, slowly coming back to this moment. And when you feel ready, you may open your eyes.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. It's amazing how quickly you can just go there into that
Amazing.
place of, I call it the universal heart, like that heart of all, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, this is our most powerful center. So thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful and much needed in our world today.
Yeah.
We all need the power of our heart, not just for ourselves, but for all beings. And so it felt so nurturing to really radiate that love to all beings.
Yeah, Lena, I could feel there's a lot of suffering and fear. We know that right now. And what I would just say is that, all of us have this incredible ability we don't even fully get. I don't fully understand it in my brain, to be honest. I don't, but I can feel it. And there's so much research and evidence about the magnetic field of our heart and the connectedness, the oneness. We really can send these prayers, these waves of love to people that are suffering, to Mother Earth. And so I appreciate what you said. I felt it. I felt like, oh my gosh, I could feel the heaviness. And I'm like, well, what I can do, what you and I can do, what we can do is we can at least send loving thoughts as much as we can.
That's right. That's right. And it is impactful. It does shift the universe, the energetic vibration of all that is, because we share this one energy field.
Yeah.
So, for those people tuning in, would you recommend any resources to them about, the heart power or the heart coherence? Are there any books that you really enjoy that could be helpful?
Yeah. How much time do we have on that?
Right.
I will make it succinct. I've been, really, really grateful to be more and more connected with Heart Math, with the amazing. What I love about Heart Math, it's 30 years of research and data and peer-reviewed journals and science to really show and prove and explain how our heart intelligence works, and including our intuition, which is connected to heart intelligence. So anything by Heart Math, heartmath.com, heartmath.org is the institute. I'm just a friend. I'm not, there's not any, I don't work with them. I've done quite a bit with them because I believe in this mission. They've also made their film, The Heart Math Experience. They've made it free. And it's so interesting, Lena. I was so grateful. I got they premiered it in Sedona at an event right before this pandemic. And I was there and I got to helped them premiere it. And it was so powerful. And I was talking to Dr. Rosman, who's the CEO, and she was saying they made it free so anybody in the world can watch it. And it's 90 minutes. It goes through the science, the techniques that we did, the heart lock-in, and a few others. It's so accessible. She wrote a book with Doc Childre called Heart Intelligence. I highly recommend that. I'm also a huge fan of Greg Braden and his book, The Divine Matrix, which also explains, some of this. Another book that I'll just recommend, you had talked about intentions, mantras. For those that like the logic or the science behind it, is The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart. And that explains so incredibly, it's going to blow your mind. But when we set intentions, there's scientific proven evidence that it really truly works and how it works.
Amazing.
Those are a few. There's
I know there's so many.
We'll start there. I'm constantly reading. I cannot get enough of this stuff. I totally get it. On the side of my bed, my bedside table, I have 15 books that I peruse. It's very nomadic. Yes. But I totally feel you on that. So for people tuning in, if you have any questions, you can send them here in the comments section and we can get to them. But if not, we'll just continue to flow with our conversation. And I do want people to know where they can connect with you, Julie, and what you're up to these days in terms of your work, what you're really passionate about. Thank you so much. First of all, this has been so beyond fun. I'm so fun. I feel like my heart is we love this. We love her. You're just beautiful goddess sister. You're awesome, Lena. And the easiest way to find me is either my website, which is just my name.com. I also do have quite a few free meditations and a course on overcoming overeating on Insight Timer, which is a free meditation app. And the course is I want to say 10 or 20. I mean, it's nominal, and the meditations are free. So the app is free, and I like to share that because I think we can there are many, many others up there too. If you want to check them out, I have a lot on self-love and abundance and living fiercely and gratitude. And just really felt called to give back, because it's really, meditation saved my life. It really did. And I would say that the thing, I just recently intuitively came up with an idea a year ago and just launched my School of Sacredology, which is, it's very powerful. It's an online learning community where we are together as a community unlocking intuition and heart wisdom. And it's just, that name came to me a year ago, and it's really claiming the sacredness of life, all of it. And bringing in master class experts, would love you in there, and have had heart math people. And it's just really designed to help us, I feel to learn how to go back to what's innate and to use that so that we can start to shift this world to being more heart-centered, honestly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. When I first saw your School of Sacredology on your website, I got chills all over my body. I was like, ooh, that was divinely inspired for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do. You are really the embodiment of the light that exists within all of us. And again, I'm so grateful for you, my goddess soul sister. And there's just so much joy and love that I have for this moment, this conversation, and all that's going to unfold ahead. Well, it already has happened. We're just tuning into it, right?
Right, exactly. So, nothing can hold us back.
That's another conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to continuing all of this wonderful journey.
Thank you, Lena. And thank you to everyone tuning in. My prayer is that our hearts were more opened and can start to trust yourself a little more. And I just love what you're doing and who you are in the world. And I'm grateful to be here. Talk about a bright light and a goddess. Woo! All of that and beyond. High priestess. That comes up.
Yes. I will receive that. I will receive that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So So for everyone tuning in, I hope to see you next week for Meditation Medicine, for another workshop, discussion style workshop with another wonderful teacher. And Julie queued us up because next week we're talking about loving the temple. So sacred practices to cultivate self-love in this temple of your body, which was definitely a theme today. So thank you, Julie. So much love for you, and we'll connect soon, my darling.
Yay.